Welcome back to the Journey to Leadership podcast. Leadership and management insights to engage, educate, and empower. The aim of this podcast is to provide leaders at all levels of organizations with the tactics and techniques to dramatically increase effectiveness, productivity, and results in their business. I am Corey Atkinson, your leadership and performance coach, head of learning and development and organizational solutions at CSPN, and excited to be with you today. Now, before I continue, since these podcasts are for all of you, my listeners, I'd love to get your thoughts. I've gotten emails and requests here and there, and I want to make it easy for people to connect with me. So if you'd like to get insight on a specific topic or situation that you're going through, ask a question, or even just give us feedback on what you like or want to hear more of, please let me know. Please email me directly at Corey, Corey, at myCSPN.com. I'd love to hear from you and be able to respond to you as quickly as possible. You can also follow me on LinkedIn as well as CSPN, the Customer Service Professional Network. So let's get started. Today, we're talking about high performance teams. I saw a great quote a while back about high performance teams that I think really epitomizes what we mean by high performance teams. The quote was, "What sets high performance teams apart from others is the level of commitment, particularly the level of commitment and how deep each team member's commitment is to one another." Julia was all about effective processes. Having worked for most of her career in manufacturing, she knew how important effectively managed and tightly run processes were to keeping costs and expenses down. She'd come to me now to coach her, though, on being more flexible, as she had received feedback from her VP that her flexibility was lacking. "Corey, I don't know what to do. I try to be flexible, but when things go wrong, I get the heat. I've got to jump in. With the deadlines I have, the teams I'm running, I can't afford to be too flexible. You know, this is a tough business we're in. What do I do?" She threw her hands up and slumped back into her chair. I could see that she was quite exasperated. So I paused for a moment and said, "One of the most effective ways I have seen, and for myself, Julia, to be more flexible, is to go back and remember when you were flexible. We are all flexible at some time in our lives, and it's about going back and accessing that space, the circumstances, the situations. So, could I ask you a question?" She looked at me a little puzzled and said, "Sure." And I said, "When was the last time you were really flexible?" Julia furrowed her brows, and I could see she was thinking. And then she was quiet, and then she said, "It was with Percy." I was like, "Percy?" "Yeah, Corey, Percy was this ops guy that I worked with, and he really brought us together, made us a strong team, and in doing so, I really was flexible. There was trust, but I remember how flexible I was, and it was because it was an awesome team." I smiled and said, "Tell me about it." "Well, Corey, I worked at a large manufacturing distribution company located in the Midwest a while back. I had managed a team of close to about 30 people, and I had 2 to 3 other team leads who were right on. We were in the manufacturing division. So given the variety of products we created, packages we put together, and of course, products we shipped, our working conditions were challenging. And then on top of that, safety was a major concern. So we had a number of processes to follow, but when not executed correctly, caused slowdowns in the efficiency of the work. We had a wide range of tenures on the team. Our newest team member, I remember, was just under a year. We had some people over 15 years in the business. But even though, Corey, many of the members didn't all have the appropriate level of training to operate some of the larger equipment. And because of that, some parts of the processes were slowed down because the team leads would have to jump in and be pulled away from things they were working on. I was like, okay, so definitely a challenging situation. Julia, tell me about what Percy did to turn the group into a high-performing team. What allowed that team for you to be more flexible? Well, Corey, when Percy arrived I remember it was about 6 years prior. As the operation manager, we were doing okay, but there were problems. Missed production goals from time to time. People calling in sick often on Mondays and Fridays, cliques. It was not really a team. So in the first week or so, Percy called me in and sat me down and said, talk to me. So I shared with him these thoughts, and his first words, Corey, were thank you. Thank you for being genuine. I was a little shocked because I don't think that a manager that I've had before Percy ever said thanks. So I really appreciated that. I smiled and said, okay, so go on. He then asked me for my opinion, Corey, on ideas as well as from the other team leads on what we could do. And the very next day he came in and said to the three of us, we're not a team, we are a group. We need to be a team. So he said, let's become one. And he jumped up and went to the whiteboard and put down two things. So me, being the coach, leaned in curiously and I said, well, what did he write? He said R&R and then RTT. Julia, tell me about R&R. So what we started doing, it was just towards the holidays, and he put in this place called R&R. And every January, we would take Friday and Saturdays to connect and listen. So we would take part of the workday, but would also ask people to take part of their weekend because, of course, we had to keep the process running. And Percy called these R&R, recharge and refocus. And what he asked us to do was to come in and prepare to talk about what we learned from last year doing what we've been doing. And what do we want to do or learn or even watch out for this year so that we can be successful? And even share a personal goal or two so that the group knows us better. It was almost, Corey, like a group performance review. And it was scary at first, but it became very rewarding. And we really started looking forward to it. What was amazing about it was the pinnacle, because especially in the sharing of personal goals or things that people wanted to work on for themselves, it was like 6 degrees of separation kicked in. Somebody knew how to help somebody else with their goal, or another team had a similar goal from previously and wanted to give some tips and tricks to that person. There was a lot of dialogue and there was a lot of laughter in those meetings. But Corey, you know what I loved best? I said, what, Julia? I literally saw the team get stronger from those meetings. I was like, wow, that's impressive. She goes, you know what really was amazing was that we all left those R&R sessions with specific plans and commitments to develop into a stronger team member and a stronger team by supporting everyone and having the organization support us. And for me, as sort of the leader of the group, it opened my eyes, Corey, to how amazing the people I had on my team and what I, as their leader, could learn from them. It really helped me become more flexible. I was like, great. Tell me about step 2. Well, step 2 was also very interesting because it was very different. But Percy said if we're going to move from a group to a team, we've got to really connect with one another. And he implemented what we called the RTT, Revolving Tag Team. And this allowed us to work closely with one another, truly get to know the other entire team quickly. Every week or 2 weeks, we would rotate and have a different partner that we'd work with closely. So what happened is each team member became much more in tune with the other team members. And if you're revolving and work with different people, we became a stronger team. We increased our team spirit. People had a great time working together, and we still were able to run our operations and our shifts because we could count on our partner. Percy, my operation manager, called it a shared philosophy of communication. And Corey, as a result, we became the high-performing team. We actually became the top performer out of 60 other teams that performed the same duties throughout Canada and the US. I was like, wow, Julia, you really got to be a high-performing team. And Corey, she said, Corey, with our focus on becoming a high-performing team that paid off, we became the stars of the company. We were singled out as a performance team in action. And best of all, we were motivated because we saw it working, we were empowered, and we were flexible. So what's your takeaway from this one? As we look back at Julia's situation of increasing flexibility, it really was a byproduct of a high-performing team. So the true test of an effective team is one where the members operate as a self-managing team and take care of one another. The leader allows the members on the team, in this case Percy, to establish teamwork and modify its own work processes when necessary, but he gave them the guidelines on how to do it. And if you notice and listen back, there were 3 key perspectives that Percy brought to the mind so that the team could be high performing. 1, there was consistency. Every year they got together for their R&R sessions. 2, safety. By having people feel comfortable to share their goals, obviously people feel safe. And when people feel safe, they flourish. And then he went to the next level, which is community. Bringing people together, really making them feel like they're part of something bigger. And there's a great book I read many years ago called Tribal Leadership that talks about the importance of community, and really is something you might want to check out. So as we think about high performance teams, we can see here that the result of bringing people together, modifying how we do things, increases our flexibility. And it's clear that a team will produce if there's a clear understanding of how to work together and what is required for that situation. The team stays driven, self-directed, and as a result, they get the results they need. So that's our coaching situation for this month. Please connect with me through our website, mycspn.com, and you'll find other information about our customizable learning and development solutions and options, consulting, upcoming events, and client success stories. As well, reach out to me, as I said, on LinkedIn, as I'd love to get your thoughts, comments, and questions. All of our episodes are archived on our podcast page, so please go there and see what else we've been talking about. And lastly, because community is key to our journey to leadership and in life, I've got a great offer for you, the listener. When you post a positive review of the podcast, I'll send you my CSPN Gotta See This reading list, a collection of books, articles, blogs, infographics, and more that my clients and I have found extremely helpful for maximizing leadership, implementing strategy and changes, and delivering memorable experiences for clients, customers, and our employees. So please post your review and I'll send you the list immediately. My name is Corey Atkinson, your leadership and performance coach at CSPN. I hope you really enjoy listening. Look forward to seeing you on your leadership journey, and take care. Thanks for listening. Have a fabulous day.